that's a good idea. I should volunteer on that.
I now call to order this special meeting of the Anchorage Assembly. It is Friday, December 16, 2022. We are scheduled from 10:30 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Ms. LaFrance.
Here.
Mr. Constant.
Here.
Ms. Allard.
I think that was.
Mr. Cross.
Here.
Mr. Dunbar.
Here.
Mr. Perez-Verdia.
Mr. Perez-Verdia is excused.
Mr. Peterson.
Present.
Ms. Quinn Davidson.
Ms. Quinn Davidson is
Here.
excused. Oh,
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm here.
Mr. Rivera.
Present.
Mr. Solt.
Here.
Mr. Voland.
Mr. Voland is excused.
Ms. Zolotel.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please join me in this Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Vice Chair, would you read the land acknowledgement, please?
A land acknowledgement is a formal statement recognizing the indigenous people of a place. It's a public gesture of appreciation for the past and present indigenous stewardship of the lands that we now occupy. It's an actionable statement marking our collective movement toward decolonization and equity. The Anchorage Assembly would like to acknowledge that we gather today on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Athabascans. For thousands of years, the Dena'ina have been and continue to be the stewards of this land. It's with gratitude and respect that we recognize the contributions, innovations, contemporary perspectives of the Upper Cook Inlet Dena'ina.
Sorry. Thank you. We have one item on the agenda today. Item 4A under executive session, proposed executive session regarding Section 3 of AR 2022-352, appropriating funds for upgrades to the area-wide Anchorage radio network AWARN system. This is not an action item or public hearing item. The public hearing is scheduled for this item at the regular assembly meeting of December 20, 2022. I will now turn to the municipal attorney. Actually, Madam Clerk, do I need to read item 4A1 into the record? Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have before us for proposed executive session, item 4A1, resolution number AR 2022-352, a resolution of the municipality of Anchorage appropriating supplemental emergency medical transport, SEMT program revenues in the amount of $9,450,000 for capital projects, purchase of police headquarters building located at 716 West 4th, major municipal facility roof replacements, and Anchorage area-wide radio network AWARN system in multiple departments, multiple funds, and revising.
Waive reading.
Thank you. I will now turn to the municipal attorney, as the administration has requested an executive session to.
Madam Chair, this is Jamie Allard. I just wanted to, sorry for interrupting, let you know that I was on the line, please.
Thank you, Ms. Allard. Ms. Christensen, would you lay the foundation to support a potential motion to move into executive session?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The administration has requested the Assembly pass a motion to meet in executive executive session to discuss matters related to AR 2022-332, specifically Section 5, which appropriates $5.1 million for updating the AWARN system. The legal foundation for this request is as follows. The Open Meetings Act and Anchorage Municipal Code allow the Assembly to meet in an executive session to discuss limited subjects. That includes, quote, matters the immediate knowledge of which would clearly have an adverse effect upon the finances of the public entity, and matters involving consideration of government records that by law are not subject to public disclosure. Those sites can be found at AMC 230-036A3 and A6 and Alaska Statute 44.62.310C1 and C4. The administration intends to discuss the AWARN system, which is a necessary part of the security and critical infrastructure of the municipality, and why upgrades are needed. Information to be discussed is also contained in documents that are exempt from public records disclosure by law under AMC 3.90040R. If information the administration may reveal in executive session is disclosed, it is reasonably foreseeable it may enable persons to interfere with implementation of security plans for public safety communication systems, and with the potential damage that could be wrought with the confidential information, that there could clearly be an adverse effect upon municipal finances as a result. For these reasons, it is appropriate to have a motion to meet in executive session.
Thank you, Ms. Christensen. Do members have sufficient information to believe the foundation has been laid to justify a motion to move into executive session? And if you have questions or require additional information, please put yourselves in the queue. Okay, seeing no one, is there a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Mr. Constant to move into executive session. It has been seconded by Mr. Peterson. Is there any discussion on the motion to move into executive session? We'll just pause for members on the phone. Seeing no members in the queue, Madam Clerk, would you conduct the vote on the motion to move into executive session?
Ms. LaFrance,
Yes.
Mr. Constant,
Yes.
Ms. Allard,
Yes.
Mr. Cross,
Yes.
Mr. Dunbar,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Quinn Davidson,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Salt,
Yes.
Ms. Solotel.
Yes.
The vote passes 9-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Jones or Ms. Veniclausen, do you want to speak to the logistics?
Yes, Madam Chair. For the Assembly's information, we're going to be ending your live stream, and also for the public's information, we're going to end the live stream as you move into executive session. For those members on the phone, we're going to ask that you disconnect from this call, and you'll receive an email from me with a confidential bridge number. We ask to keep to yourselves, and if you could call back in and enter the new participant code, probably take just a few minutes to make this transition.
And before we begin that transition, I'll turn to
Will do.
the,
Thank you.
I will turn to the municipal manager. And if you would go over the list of folks who will be invited into the executive session for the administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In addition to myself and Ms. Christensen, the municipal attorney, the administration has brought with us a number of subject matter experts on these topics that are going to be discussed. APD Chief Curl, Lance Wilbur, Kent Cole-Hayes, Trig Erickson, and Jason Beach.
Thank you, Ms. Domboski. So with that,
Madam Chair, if I might.
go ahead, Mr. Constant.
Thank you. it's clear to me who everyone is until we get to Trick Erickson and Jason Beach. Can we understand who they are?
I apologize. Both Jason and Trig work in the communication shop, the radio shop. So they're responsible for the system that is going to be discussed. Maybe for the record, I could tell everybody's title. Obviously, Chief Curl is the chief of the Anchorage Police Department. Lance Wilbur is Director of Community Development. Kent Cole Hayes is the Director of Public Works.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Constant. Thank you, Ms. Demboski. With that, we will proceed to move into executive session. Actually, Mr. Gates, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So under our code in 230-236B for executive sessions, the body really determines who's permitted to be invitees and special guests and staff members for the executive session. So we've heard the administration's list, and I think the chair can rule if these invitees are welcome to the executive session or not, subject to objection by the body. But I would also suggest that we have assembly branch staff as well, and we should probably identify who's going to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. And we will be further identifying before we move on to the executive session record who is present and when we go into the executive session on the record as well. But it is my intent that in addition to those individuals whom the administration has requested to be in attendance, that Assembly Council and the clerk's staff is also present. Thank you, Mr. Gates.